Clones were the saviours of the Republic and loyal to a fault. However, they held a dark secret. The inhibitor chip stored in their head allowed Sidious to betray his allies and seize power without question. However, this could have been done just as easily with droids, who would be far less likely to disobey orders. So this does beckon the question, why did Sidious choose clones in the first place? Now, there are actually numerous reasons for the use of clones over droids, and this jumps from things such as price, effectiveness in combat, and the fact that Palpatine secretly wanted humanoids to be the face of the Republic, as the anti-alien agenda would be an essential role in his new empire. However, there is another very important factor that I believe droids would never be able to execute Order 66 and take power from Palpatine anywhere near as easily as the clones did. But why exactly is this? Well, firstly, we need to consider droids are machines at the end of the day, therefore the contingency order would have to be placed within their programming. Droids were pretty common in the Star Wars universe. For example, we see a 10-year-old named Jabo been able to reprogram a legion of separatist droids to become nothing more than servants. This tells us that realistically, you'd never be able to hide these orders, at least not for long. Someone at some time in the 3-year conflict would have analysed every bit of these droids' programming, and inevitably would have found evidence of the contingency orders. And eventually, this would find its way back to the Jedi and the Republic. Simply put, this was far too risky. You can't expect this to remain secret for long, and as soon as it's discovered, Palpatine's plan would have been over. Then when we compare this to the clone trooper, no one's going to be looking for an inhibitor chip. Clones were so obedient through conditioning and breeding. There wasn't actually meant to be any technology involved in them. So no one's going to be searching inside clones' heads trying to find anything suspicious. Also, since they're living people, you can't really do it without killing them. So essentially, you're not going to have the opportunity to go looking for an inhibitor chip. And the only ones who were medically near the clones were either other clones or the Kaminoans, who would either not question it or would be ordered to ignore it. And this leads us to the main purpose of the clones. They were needed to defeat the Jedi. This was essential for Palpatine's plan. It was never going to work. He wouldn't have been able to take power if many of the Jedi had survived, because it would completely undermine him, and he would have probably been arrested or killed. Therefore, he needed the Jedi in a weakened state before he could initiate the orders, and droids were never going to be able to do this. For one, the Jedi developed personal connections with their clones. They were trusted confidants, even friends. Therefore, the idea that they would betray them would be almost out of the question, unlike droids, which are obviously subject to programming. Therefore, there would be far less personal relationships. A lot of the Jedi would see the droids as just that, droids. However, they saw the clones as people, because that's what they were. As well as this, we have to remember that the war really damaged the Jedi Order. They found themselves disconnected from the Force, with some members even falling to the dark side. The war really made them deviate from the Jedi Code, which had allowed them to survive for over a millennia. Now, we do know that Palpatine was in part personally responsible for this by using dark side energy and an ancient Sith shrine under the temple to distort the Jedi's connection to the Force. However, the clones, I believe, were also an attempt to strengthen this interference. The Jedi who were responsible for saving lives and maintaining peace were now surrounded by death on a huge scale. Not only this, but their decisions had this as a consequence. They were actively taking part in the clones' lives and how they died, and this must have taken a strong toll on the Jedi. Every day that they were involved in this conflict, they deviated further from their code. Like it or not, the Jedi's decisions were costing the lives of their troops. And this is something that, in my opinion, Palpatine probably knew and exploited. For this reason, Order 66, when it came, completely decimated the Jedi. They hadn't stopped to even consider if such a thing was possible. Their connection to the Force at this point was so frail that they were weak. But what do you guys think? Why did Palpatine use clones? And do you think that clones ultimately made the Jedi weak? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and sub if you've enjoyed, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Thanks again for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.